Time may have forgotten these stars, but death certainly hasn't caught up. While the world races ahead, some Hollywood legends from the early 1900s still walk among us, living, breathing pieces of history. Born before television even existed, they've witnessed the rise of cinema, survived wars, and shaped the golden age of Hollywood. Now, quietly living in the shadows, their stories remain untold to new generations. Who are these timeless icons? Still alive, still shining, and still inspiring? From swing-era dancers to silver screen royalty, these legends deserve to be remembered. Stay with us as we uncover 7 forgotten stars still alive today. Dick Van Dyke, the man who won't slow down born. In 1925, Dick Van Dyke is 99 years old and still radiates joy and humor. For over 70 years, he's been a pillar of entertainment. From Broadway stages to television screens, his playful energy and comedic genius made him one of Hollywood's most cherished stars. His breakthrough came in the late 1950s on Broadway, and in 1960, he won a Tony Award for Bye Bye Birdie. That moment launched a career that would span generations. He became a household name in The Dick Van Dyke Show, 1961 to 1966, where he starred alongside Mary Tyler Moore. Their chemistry lit up the screen, and his physical comedy won him 3 Emmy Awards. He wasn't just acting, he was moving, dancing, stumbling with such a skill that even the simplest gesture became hilarious. In 1964, he starred in Mary Poppins, playing both Bert the Chimney Sweep and the elderly bank manager. Despite the jokes about his British accent, his charm made the role unforgettable. He famously turned down a chance to play James Bond, laughing, "Have you heard my British accent?" In 1968, he starred in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, further cementing his legacy with a magical car, a whimsical story, and endless energy. In the 70s, he returned to TV. In the 90s, he became Dr. Sloan in Diagnosis: Murder. He even popped up in films like Dick Tracy and Night at the Museum. At 93, he danced again in Mary Poppins Returns, proving age hadn't dimmed his sparkle. In 2024, for his 99th birthday, he joked about playing a sitcom grandpa just to stay active. Even as public appearances became rare in 2025, he kept his signature wit. "I feel old," he joked, "just praying to make it to 99. Eva Marie Saint, a golden age icon who still shines, born on the 4th of July in 1924, Eva Marie Saint wasn't launched into fame. She worked for it. After college, she started at NBC and hustled her way into radio and early television. By the late 1940s, she was already being called the Helen Hayes of TV. Her film debut was nothing short of historic. In 1954, she starred opposite Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. It was her first movie role, and she won an Oscar. The film's director, Elia Kazan, used intense psychological techniques to heighten her performance. He told her not to let Brando into a room during one scene, creating real tension. The emotions were raw, and the result was unforgettable. In 1959, she worked with Alfred Hitchcock in North by Northwest. Hitchcock didn't want the soft, dramatic actress. He wanted someone elegant, mysterious, and modern. He coached her personally, changing her wardrobe, lowering her voice, and shifting her image. She pulled it off brilliantly, delivering one of her most iconic performances. She never chased the spotlight. Instead, she chose her roles with care. Only around 20 films in total, yet every role had purpose. From Exodus to The Russians Are Coming, she balanced power and poise. In 2006, she returned to the screen as Ma Kent in Superman Returns, a full-circle moment with Brando's old footage playing Superman's father. Her personal life mirrored her quiet dignity. She married director Jeffrey Hayden in 1951, and they stayed together for 65 years until his death. She performed stage readings, supported young writers, and remained active in the arts well into her 90s. She officially stepped away from acting in 2021 at the age of 97. At 100, she remains the oldest living Academy Award winner and a treasured link to Hollywood's golden age. Mel Brooks, the king of comedy, still rules. Mel Brooks, born in 1926, is 98 years old and still a master of making people laugh. One of the few entertainers to win an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Brooks has spent nearly a century turning chaos into comedy. He even received an honorary Oscar in 2024. His journey began as a young comedy writer on Your Show of Shows, alongside future legends like Neil Simon and Woody Allen. That's also where he met Carl Reiner, and their improvised sketch, The 2,000-Year-Old Man, became a comedy phenomenon. At a time when he was broke, those records helped him survive, and later won him a Grammy. Then came The Producers, a bold film that turned a musical about Hitler into an Oscar-winning satire. Later, he transformed it into a Broadway hit, proving lightning could strike twice. In the 1970s, he hit his stride with Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, two iconic comedies released the same year. Gene Wilder shined in both, and Brooks himself played multiple roles. Beyond comedy, Brooks showed range. His company, Brooks Films, produced serious dramas like The Elephant Man and The Fly. He deliberately kept his name off those credits to avoid audience expectations of humor. That humility is rare in show business. He was married to actress Anne Bancroft for 41 years, and their household was full of warmth and wit. Their son Max Brooks became a successful author, penning World War Z. Even into his late 90s, Mel kept working. He published a memoir in 2021 and returned to TV with History of the World Part 2 in 2023, over 40 years after the original. He lent his voice to animated films and kept audiences laughing, proving comedy doesn't age. James Hong, a trailblazer who made his own way. James Hong, born in 1929, has one of the most unique stories in Hollywood. Raised in Minneapolis by Chinese immigrants, his early life was filled with opera singers visiting his father's herb shop. Though he earned an engineering degree, his passion led him to acting. Hollywood wasn't kind to Asian American actors then. Roles were scarce and often offensive. Instead of giving up, Hong created opportunities. Along with actor Mako, he co-founded East West Players, a groundbreaking theater company supporting Asian American artists. At one point, 70% of Asian American actors in Hollywood were connected to it. Hong's own career spans more than 600 roles, from 50s films with John Wayne and Clark Gable to modern hits like Big Trouble in Little China and Blade Runner. His talent and adaptability made him one of the most prolific actors ever. He voiced characters in animated hits like Kung Fu Panda and appeared in acclaimed modern films like Everything Everywhere All at Once. His legacy goes beyond numbers. He fought for representation, paved the way for others, and never stopped performing. Now in his 90s, he's still acting, still inspiring, and still showing that talent and perseverance outlast everything. A century of grace. These stars aren't just old, they're legends. They danced through decades, laughed through history, and made art that lasted far longer than they ever expected. They've outlived trends, survived tragedy, and stayed curious about what's next. Time may have moved on from them, but they never stop moving forward. They remind us that passion doesn't fade and talent doesn't retire. In an industry that forgets its own icons, these stars shine brighter than ever, not because of fame, but because of their enduring spirit. If you enjoyed this journey through Hollywood's timeless legends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more stories that honor the icons who shaped entertainment history. See you in the next one.